Hey, and welcome guys. Welcome to the dojo. My name is Matthew White, and in the dojo, we help entrepreneurs, working professionals, and aspiring high achievers accomplish more in life through managing or mastering their mindset. You're in the dojo, and today we're going to talk about one of the most important things I think that we face or deal with in this day and age, and that is distraction. Distraction. What a crazy beast, right? And I know that if you're watching this, you've probably been victim to that urge to do something else rather than be focused on what's important, what's a priority, what's urgent, right? And we all face that. We all deal with that procrastination or a distraction in our life, right? Now, we've helped countless entrepreneurs and aspiring high achievers and professionals accomplish more in their lives. And we go quite in depth into helping people and teaching about the science and the biology behind managing your mind. And we want you to be able to, and we want to help as many people as we can. Please, can you like or share this video? By sharing and liking and engaging and subscribing, you're helping us spread the word. Thank you so much. All right. So distraction. What a massive problem, right? And, it really has become a part of our life in society where it's becoming a burden. It increases stress in our lives, being distracted, going around, chasing our tail, getting interrupted. And at the end of the day, you're realizing that you're not accomplishing enough because, you had all these things happening during the day. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes, not on purpose. And this induction of procrastination is also a big problem where we kind of get drawn to these things that distract us. We get sucked into these novelties, and these novelties drain us of time and resources and energy, and it becomes frustrating. And this ultimately deals to a serious level of unfulfillment, right? Going through days, cycles of days, and not accomplishing things, not getting your goals achieved. Even the small goals become really hard goals because you're getting, caught up in this hamster wheel of getting distracted. And some of this stuff is addictive. Like, let's face it. The reality is sometimes we are just pure freaking addicted to these distractions, right? Getting likes and all this Facebook interaction where you got this draw to see what your friends have to say about something you posted, right? It sucks you in. And there's other things like, Netflix is so well designed now that you can get drawn into a series and just get stuck into binge watching, and it becomes really a problem for a lot of people, right? There's porn, there's all kinds of stuff out there that are sucking us dry, and they have become literally addictive and ruining people's lives, literally, right? All of this can be pretty depressing, and it leaves a lot of people left frustrated and achieving goals and going around in circles, never quite accomplishing the things they want to do. So it's a major impact across society, across the board. So many people are facing a real impact when it comes to distraction. And so one of the things I like to tell people when we're helping our clients is, we have a kind of a step-by-step model that we help people through. It's a basic 3-step model, but it's really about impacting and powering up your mind. But one of the components of that is managing and dealing with the distraction. Now, this is a multi-layered facet, and there's no one fix for all. But this is a really good way to start diving into understanding your distraction and being able to manage it in an effective way so that you can start getting control of your life so that you can move forward more effectively, right? And distractions are a real problem, right? So one of the biggest things I tell people, and as this is so important, you have to understand this, is that willpower is nothing. You can't rely on willpower. You cannot say that in your mind, I'm going to do something and then expect that always you're going to keep doing that thing, right? Willpower is the worst form of reliance that you can place on yourself to help yourself move forward. If you're relying on willpower, that means you're not creating a strong outcome for yourself. You're not hacking into your biology and saying, I've put these things in place and this is how it's going to be. You're just going, well, I'm hoping that it's going to work out. I'm going to say to myself, I'm going to do these things over and over again. And, quite possibly I'll probably get it done. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Our minds, for the most part, are not strong enough until you've been working at an elite level and you actually have that control of your mind. But relying on willpower is the worst thing that you can do. So don't rely on willpower. We have a system of control that we work with in our dojo, and these levels of control are fixed and very powerful, right? So the worst level to rely on to be able to control your habits, to control the outcomes of your life, is willpower. The next level up is habits, right? When you're using your habits, it's something you do automatically. You've been doing it for your whole life. You eat at a certain time, you brush your teeth at a certain time, you wake up, you've got a structure around certain things that you do, and you're automatically doing these things, but they're not reliable. Habits are not reliable. You'll keep forgetting things, or you'll convince yourself not to do certain things, right? Like trying to create a fitness health habit, right? You're going down this path and you're trying to create habits. You keep doing things over and over again, but at some point something happens, and in your mind, your voices in your head will tell you, yeah, let's not do that today. You don't do it today, but then you try and do it the next day, and then it's like, what's the point? And then you just don't do it, right? Because you let your mind control that outcome. And willpower is not a strong way to do that. The next level up is processes. See, here's the thing with your mind. Your mind needs structure. Your mind needs to know what it's got to do. And so you need to process out your life. There needs to be checklists and the processes on how you're going to do certain things. It needs to be clear. So your mind has a pathway to making these things happen and the reasons why, right? And when you can create a good process, right, processing your life, you have these checkpoints that you're going to go through, and your brain can work with that because it's clear. It understands the pathway from here to there. But there's an even stronger correlation, a much more powerful model that we work towards when we're in the dojo. And one of those models is engineering, right? There's nothing more solid and concrete to getting movement forward or people to do things or strengthening up your habits than having an engineering process in place. I'll give you an example. For instance, you might wake up in the morning, right? Every morning, and you've got your alarm clock going off, right? Your alarm clock beeps, beep, 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 and you go, snooze button, right? Snooze button goes, and you go back to sleep, right? Now you've got a process of waking up in the morning. That's your process. You got to get ready to go to work, but your habit has let you down, right? Your habit has stopped you, and your voice in your head has said, let's sleep another 15 minutes. The next thing you know, you've slept an hour longer than what you should, and that's freaking running around trying to get ready for work, right? So your habits let you down. But here's the thing. Imagine if you took that phone and you put it 5 meters away from you. And I know a lot of people that do that, and it's a really effective model. Putting your phone away so that when the alarm goes off, you have to literally get out of your bed, go to the phone, switch it off. Now you're up. It's way easier to stay up, right? That's an engineering process. These are the processes that we use to help people. So going back to distraction, right? Distraction is one of those things that's kind of connected with habits, right? We all understand that it's what we do and how we can control our mind and how we can be on our game. Now, here's the thing. Falling for distractions is a neuro glitch, right? We have a neuro pathway. Our brains are wired in a certain way. And if we get sucked into distraction, it's because our brains are wired in a way that they're not dealing with it effectively, right? Most distraction or getting sucked into distraction is bad brain wiring. It's really a simple equation, right? It's something that's happened to your brain. You've been training your brain to do a certain thing over a long period of time, and it responds. It's reacting to that. You've created that pathway in your head. You've processed that into your mind. And so your body's going to typically keep following that process path, right? But it's a glitch, right? Your brain is not able to manage the great amount of overload of information that comes into your conscious mind all the time, right? You're getting bombarded. You've got people around you, friends, family, work, business, colleagues, loved ones, family, all these things that are just coming at you on a daily basis, and you have to be able to manage it. So the distractions are constant. And your brain freaking doesn't know how to deal with it sometimes. It's just like, what the hell's going on? I'm lost. And it defaults to getting distracted, picking up your mobile phone or doing something other than focusing on what needs to be done. And ultimately, another big problem is your neurochemicals are misfiring. They're not at they're not created or put in a perspective to help you manage that distraction, right? Neurochemicals are a very powerful tool or model that you can utilize to help back up your to help back up and manage your distractions. If you look at how your brain is wired, if you work on the brain wiring, and if you work on the neurochemicals, right, together these become a very powerful ally to keep your brain focused on the game so that you can accomplish more and get more done. Your neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, your endorphins, serotonin, all these play a role in how you manage your life. And so if you haven't got your biology primed and you're not working in an effective, efficient manner, and you got lack in your hormone system or your neurochemistry system, you're going to be lacking in the ability or the aptitude to be able to manage your distractions. It's that simple, right? So I'm going to give you 5 critical steps that you can utilize to help you maximize your effectiveness and be able to control and manage your distractions more effectively, right? So the first one, this is very important, and it's the starting point to really getting a handle on distraction and being able to get your brain working on your favor and starting to raise those chemicals and rewiring your brain to start realizing and understanding what is a distraction and how you can start managing it, right? So the first thing is you need to confront your distractions. You need to know what the hell is distracting you and when and how that all happens. Is it your colleagues just coming into your office and, just asking you questions or having a laugh or having conversations when you're trying to keep concentrating and focused? Is it your staff that is desperately trying to get your attention and you have to manage your staff and you're not able to create concentration time on what's going on in that day? Is it your phone? Is it your friends? Is it social media? Is it porn? What is it that is causing you distraction? What is drawing at you and creating a time loss in your day and for you not to be effective? What is it? You have to confront it. You have to know what the freaking heck is causing you the pain. If you don't confront these things, you're always going to you'll be hiding away from them. And they're going to keep niggling at you and keep dragging you down and keep sucking you dry. So very important. Number 1, confront your distractions. Write them down. List them. I get caught up with social media. I keep wanting to have my friends, give me adoration. And so that makes me feel good, right? It's important to notice that. That's, you're putting it out there. You're confronting it. I have a problem with YouTube or Netflix. I can't stop watching Netflix. When I get sucked into a program, I just keep watching and watching and watching, and it's draining my time. All right, I'm not spending enough time with my family, my children. It's a big problem. The next thing is, and confronting your distractions is really being honest with yourself and really getting stuck into this and writing them down and giving them on paper so that you can be clear about what you're going to do on the next step, right? The next thing is you need to accept these distractions or problems for what they freaking are. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to outline there that these are a problem because I'm not controlling the situation or I am addicted to this, right? It's important to be honest with yourself. If you can't be honest with yourself, you're never going to grow as a person. So honesty in this aspect is really critical. My staff used to come in and used to have these things that they needed to attend to, and they weren't thinking for themselves. And getting dragged in by your staff a lot of the time, wanting your attention can be a big drain on your day. These are big distractions, right? Maybe you deal with the same kind of thing. And what was happening is I had to realize that I wasn't being strong enough or stern enough to create an outcome or engineer an outcome that would work effectively so that I could protect my time and get more done. And so I had to start thinking about it. I had to be honest that it was my fault, that I was getting sucked into these things. Another thing is social media. For me, Facebook was a big problem. I was oftentimes posting things, and instead of being proactive and productive about it, I was more engaged with the likes and shares than I was with actually getting shit done, right? And so you got to be honest with yourself. And that was an addiction. And I actually noticed that as an addiction. I had to confront it as an addiction. I had to say, I am addicted to my phone. Okay, I'm open to this. Now, you've opened up a pathway for understanding how you can start making changes, right? But accepting the distractions for what they are is critical. If you've got an addiction, admit it. If you've got a problem, or if you're feeling timid about certain things, admit it. At least then you can deal with it, because you know what it is. Now you can put something in place to work it out, right? Next big thing was really starting to understand and recognize when you're getting distracted. The recognizing of a distraction is the power to start realizing that you can get focused. Recognizing and understanding distractions is one of the most powerful things you can do to get on top of your game, right? When you're doing something and you're stuck on a process, you're something you got to do, and then all of a sudden you get dragged or drawn aside by something, and it's sucking your time out, then you're going to be a bit lost. So recognizing these is really important, right? The next step is to process your path to manage the distractions, right? Now, you've recognized your distractions, you've created them, you confronted them, and you understand what it's doing to you and why you're doing this stuff, right? The problems that are creating these distractions, because it's inner conflict, it's inner issues that you're dealing with. The next thing you need to do is create a process, or process what you're going to do to make this better, which means you got to create a checklist, or I like to call them cheat sheets, right? You need to create a cheat sheet on how you're going to deal with these distractions. These distractions are ruining your life, literally, right? Because you're in this position where your distractions are just really freaking calling you and pulling you down. So you got to process, you got to literally create a step-by-step of what you're going to do to manage these distractions, right? If it's Facebook, if it's social media, if it's networks, process out, do a checklist, right, that you have to follow to help you manage those things, right? If it's, for instance, Netflix, maybe, my process would be I never watch Netflix until an allocated time once a week. And that allocated time is typically over a weekend where I'm spending, close time with family, and it's designated that we're going to watch. I'll process in, we only watch X amount for an X amount of hours, and that is our process, right? So from now on, everybody knows that we've processed this out. We go 7 p.m. on say Saturday night until 8:30. That's when we're watching a show on Netflix, and that's it. After that, it's family time or sleep time, right? So very critical to process these things out. For Facebook, I will not touch my mobile phone except for a certain period of time in the day. In that period of time, I have half an hour. I'll deal with my phone and Facebook and messages on my Facebook, and that's it. I shut myself off. You process these steps, and now your brain can start managing that more effectively and understanding that you have a workflow, right? And your brain likes workflows. Your dopamine, your norepinephrine, all these chemicals in your brain really get excited when there's a path they can follow. They know where you're going, right? And your brain gets excited about that. So you process it out. The next thing you need to do is engineer that, right? Engineer it. Some of the engineering things might be that you have a timer, right? A timer is a really good way to engineer into your life how to get things done. And in that time, that happens. In that time, that happens, right? And you stick with that. If you don't stick with that, say, for instance, you might have a timer on a Saturday night, we watch TV. If it's a problem that we're watching it after a certain time, we have a timer on the power switch, right? That timer will go off, boom. The whole entertainment unit will shut down at a certain time. And in the beginning, it's a bit annoying, but you get used to that, and that it's set, it's engineered. I have a timer on that plug switch. Everything shuts down at a certain time. That's it. Time's up. I've engineered a habit, and it's formed a really good outcome for me and my family. That's how you want to be. That engineering process means you can't cheat. You can't hack, you can't go around it. You can't think about anything. It just happens, right? Preventing yourself from doing certain things is the best way to get yourself to move. Moving the mobile phone in the morning so that you can't just press the snooze button, leave it in a couple of meters away, and that gets you out of bed. That way you can't be stopped from moving forward, right? It's awesome. So we have some really cool tips and strategies that we use in the dojo. If this is something you're interested in, you want to learn more about strengthening your mind and being bulletproof and moving forward in your business career, your life, and achieving your mighty goals, come and catch up with us. There's links below. You can connect with us on all different levels. Very cool to catch up with you. Watch out for more videos, subscribe, and come catch up with us again. Talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.